This is the Wheel of Time Spoilers podcast.
It's just a weave.
It's just a weave. The title, Darkness in the Tower, inappropriate. Definitely, it's just a weave.
Yeah, no, there is no other way to refer to this event than it's just a weave. That is the name of this event. It's so very exciting. I'm so glad we're here. Like, yeah, the action sequences go fast generally as a podcast, but I loved rereading this. I'm going to love talking about it with you. I'm going to love the edit of it. I'm going to be excited that next week we're still in it. This is just a good time. This is so Sanderlanchy, and it's just so good.
These are the moments where, as much as I do complain about Sanderson and what he doesn't do that Jordan does, that I'm very glad that he was the one who had to, if Jordan couldn't finish the books, Sanderson was able to craft these moments that were very exciting, very much a payoff, very much the resolution of some of the threads that Jordan had started. And it feels good to read this chapter.
Yeah, it's just satisfying.
Yeah. So this is something that I think Sanderson does really well. The action sequences, the payoffs, that's what he's good at. And this is really where, I think Perrin is starting to turn back around. We're done with the White Cloaks. Almost.
Yeah.
Like, we still have to rescue them, but like the pain part is done, right? Perrin gets to be a hero again. He gets to have his own arc. He gets to have his own agency. Even though he kind of sleeps through the last battle, he's doing important things in his sleep. It's a very the world of dreams is his domain, whereas the battlefield is Matt's domain, and this sort of world of the Dark One's prison, Shale Ghul, Dangerous Rants, right? So you have all three sort of domains covered by the three boys. And so I get why he did that. I do kind of wish Perrin was on the battlefield more with his army, though.
Yeah. Someone had to be in the dream, kicking ass and taking names. And Egwene clearly couldn't be it for nebulous reasons that are made unclear, because I don't know why she... there's just this weird hole that's sort of vaguely human shaped, but I don't know who it is. I don't know her. But yeah, at this point, Sanderson's Perrin is starting to get his legs under him.
Yeah.
He's starting to feel like less of an awkward amalgamation of things that we don't care about and more of like a cool wolf boy with dream powers. And he's not Jordan's Perrin, but he is at least a Perrin with some growth arc and backstory that makes sense congruously within the Sanderson version of him. And he's doing really cool stuff against an ancient enemy of his. So, yeah, he's out of his nadir. He is definitely moving up into cool space again.
And so, as Sanderson, as always, tends to do, he's starting his best chapter with a Gawain POV. Why? Too much Gawain.
Well, because that's what the chapter title is, right? We were saying that the chapter title is wrong. The chapter title is with the reference to how Gawain is experiencing all of this, and that's how we know it's wrong.
Mm-hmm. So, should I read us in? Do I want to read us in? We haven't done many readings lately.
No, because we're just cranky. I didn't think there was much of a need for a read-in because it's just Gawain sort of, spiraling around content we already know. There's nothing interesting there.
I mean, him admitting to himself, Elaine was right. Much of Gawain's hatred of Althor came from frustration, maybe jealousy, right? This moment where he admits to himself that he wants to be doing what Rand's doing, he wants to be leading, and sort of this realization that he comes to, right? That he decides, you know what? You're right. I'm being jealous. I'm being petty. I'm a glory hound, basically, and I'm doing the wrong thing. I need to go to Egwene not as a prince seeking my own destiny, but as a warder who's serving her. And that's how I can help her. And in that moment, he has the ability to go help Egwene by being her servant. Even though the actions look the same as they've been in the past, he's doing it for the right reasons, and that's why it works out for him. And then he goes and fucking attacks Demandred and sacrifices himself for no reason. And that's what my biggest frustration with Gawain is he has this moment of growth here where he has the realization, I cannot be a glory hound going out seeking accomplishments for myself without the approval of my Aes Sedai. I am her warder, and my character growth is to obey her and do what she needs. And then he goes out and becomes a glory hound, seeking the glory of taking on Demandred, and dies for it. And it's like, did you not have this realization here on the page? Did I not read that?
Right. And it's a good revelation because it even has this lovely little twist of foreshadowing where he says, I have to do her work from within her shadow. And then he kicks ass in this battle by literally making the room dark.
Yeah.
Like her room, her shadow. And that's where he defends her from these creatures in the shadow. And it's beautiful. And
It's beautiful.
yeah, if this was the turn, if he was just an amazing shadow for her the rest of the series and didn't do the Demon Dread thing, I don't know if we would be giving him so much shit for the last year and a half or however long it's been that we just have been unrelenting in this vibe.
Right.
I feel like we would be giving him a lot less shit if this had stuck. It's really cool for these 2 chapters. It doesn't last. That's the problem.
And then maybe Egyanan becomes a warder with him, right? And she has 2 warders.
She would have been a green.
Yeah.
It's fine for her to
It's
have
fine.
multiple warders. That would have been great.
Right? So, you can fulfill that prophecy without killing him off.
Absolutely.
You can have her have 2 badass warders to protect her going forward. Right? That link back to the Sean Chan when she confronts Tuon again, right? Tuon's like, how do you know so much about us? And there's Egyanan and talking in her Sean Chan accent, right?
Right. And then they can do like good cop, bad cop routines, like both as warders, good warder, bad warder. It'll be great.
And oh god, that moment. Oh yeah, I'm not Egyanan, you called me Llewellyn, right? Like
Right? Oh my God. Yeah. So I truly think that all the mistakes that Gawain makes up until this point would be given a lot less weight
absolutely.
if he had not made that choice later. Because this is a good realization. Yeah, it was slow to get there, but it's a good realization. He's finally there. If it had stuck, man. Yeah.
So he goes to Egwene to tell her, hey, I'm taking off. I'm going back to the White Tower because I finally realized, my purpose in life. And Brigida's like, hold on, she's asleep. You're not going to wake her up. And he's like, well, wake her up. And he's like, no, she's asleep, capital A, right? We are in the world of dreams. Shit's going down. And he goes, oh, if Elaine is asleep, then Egwene's asleep as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think I said Egwene earlier when I said
You did.
Yeah,
But
he's going
it's
to
okay.
Elaine's
We all know what you
quarters.
meant.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why I can't keep those 2 names straight.
Because Jordan was a diabolical monster.
It really was.
Yeah, and it's so funny too, or not funny, but it's interesting because Elaine afterward thinks, man, you should have let him in. I wasn't able to go to sleep. I wasn't able to even be there because I was having pregnancy sleep issues. Like I would have rather talked to him. If Brigida had known that Elaine had failed to go to sleep and was not, in fact, at the meeting, Gawain would have been let in. He wouldn't have been there. Right? Because he makes
wouldn't
it
have gotten
through
in on
before the
time.
dome gets there, like with no time to spare, which means any amount of hanging out with Elaine would have completely changed the trajectory of history. Egwene would have died.
Right.
So,
Right.
On such small things does the world turn sometimes.
And we see there's this moment where it says, why the kinswoman let it vanish so abruptly and why so dangerously? A split second sooner and it would have taken his foot off or worse. Right. And that's the dome going up. That's Perrin jumping in with the dome, shutting down the gateway.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Gawain thinks that the kinswoman was being lazy and rushing to complete the job. No. That was Perrin metaphysically passing into an area of effect for you. Sorry.
And for a second, I was like, is that kinswoman black? No, that's the Perrin in the dome. And so we do get this is the moment where no more, the doors are shut. Nobody's coming in or out.
The boss battle music has engaged.
Boss battle.
Exactly.
And so we switch back to Egwene in the world of dreams fighting that battle. So there's 2 battles going on at once, right? The Black Oddjaw has jumped in and they are taking the bait that Egwene has set up for them.
Yeah, we're more or less jumping into where the cliffhanger from the last chapter was. Egwene hasn't engaged yet. She's hopped down to a room and yelled, "Report!" So we're more or less where we left off. But yeah, we are mid-battle, right? That was the thing, was that she didn't realize they were mid-battle until the middle of the end of the last chapter. And now here we are. Okay, update. We're in the battle. What's happening?
And the other battle that's taking place is, of course, in the real world around her sleeping body with the Sean Chan blood knives.
Right. That's happening at this point because in this report, she gets the information that they've already tried to transfer out. I believe. That comes up in this POV.
Yeah.
So that means that Gawain has made it into the tower at this point. He is almost certainly actively dancing the sword around her as this scene is going down.
Yeah, I mean, they try and leave and can't, but we're not really sure exactly when the barrier goes up, right?
Oh, no, it's right here, like literally on the next page. Egwene says, go someplace safe away from the city. They can't. And then the wise ones are there too, and they're like, yeah, we can't either. We can transfer within the tower. We can't transfer back to the waste. This is something different. Like,
and there's a dome.
Yeah, so that is engaged here at this point. So yes, Egwene's body is actively mere inches from being sliced. This entire scene.
Right. And I kind of assume that it looks like you can wake up, though. Like, the dome doesn't keep you from waking up, so you can flee.
Yeah, there's still an escape hatch, which is nice because it would be even creepier if you weren't able to wake up from this.
Then we talk about two of the Aes Sedai who have died, Siobhan and Carlinia.
Carlinia, who got her hair burned off in a nightmare. Siobhan, I don't remember anything distinguishing about.
She has been around, but she's been one of those sort of background Aes Sedai characters, right? Introduced in the Path of Daggers.
Yeah, I don't think she's done anything notable. But Carlinia is notable because her hair gets boiled off in a pot of oil in that nightmare in the tower scene. It's very dramatic. Sort of foreshadows Nynaeve getting her braid burned off in the test. A little bit. Oh, yeah, it's so wild. They go to her bedroom to confer. They're literally standing in the dream version of her bedroom to confer. And at the same time, Gawain is standing in the same location, desperately fending off the blood knives as she sleeps. Like, it's just, the layers is... The dream world is a really trippy thing to play with as a story device.
It is. It's really cool. I just love the way it's set up. Oh, one thing about Carlinia, Min did have a viewing of a raven tattoo floating by her face, meaning she would be killed by a dark friend, which of course she is because she's killed by the Black Ajah here. So that's a fulfillment of one of Min's visions.
I thought that meant she was going to get captured and tattooed as property of the Empress. I didn't think it meant getting killed by a dark friend, but okay.
You know, that's ambiguous enough that I think the writer could have done it either way.
Yeah, how dare their headcanon not line up with mine.
Right.
So yeah, she basically tells the team, wake or battle as you choose. The wise ones are like, hell yes, let's fucking go.
Let's go.
The wise ones are not going to leave. They are here for battle. And yeah, she thinks, hopefully, we're trapped here, and that's kind of weird, but that means Masana's trapped here too, and that could be good. And as we learned from Masana, yes, being trapped here is very much to her disadvantage. She did not mean for this battle to be taking place in the tower. And as we know from how Egwene defeats her, that was a very good call on her part. She was right to not want to fight on home court advantage for Egwene.
I do like that she thinks about how she left the lamp burning in the real world, and we see the sort of consequences of that with the fight.
I didn't even think about that, but yes, totally. Like that damn lamp. Gawain has to put that lamp out in order to be her shadow and defend her like a warder should. Ugh, so many layers.
All right, then we go back to Perrin's POV.
Yes.
This is just looks like anime in my head. It's just like they're flying around on the roofs of buildings, scattering nuts and pigeons. It even opens with like doves flying into the air, which is just like John Woo, right? Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. This is an anime of two protagonists who can do really cool things in the world of dreams.
Yeah, and we get the first clue about using lava to destroy the dream spike. If he had gone for that right away, then we would have had a very different final battle on the slopes of Dragon Mount. But instead, that information will be in abeyance until we get to the Nightmare volcano. He says that he's killed 4 wolves.
Yeah.
3 wolves already? I've already killed 4 wolves today. Yeah. So who's he talking about? Or is he lying?
That I was going to ask you. Actually, I did not read Encyclopedia Watt today on this chapter, which I almost always do.
Wow.
I know. I do not know if he's lying or not.
Huh. Maybe he's just counting anytime he injures a wolf as a kill because he wants to artificially inflate his numbers because he's a douche.
And I'm just like, wouldn't Perrin know?
Or does this mean that he was hunting some other wolf pack like far, far away?
Yeah. Wouldn't Perrin know if wolf died? Wouldn't all wolves know if wolves have died? Like, that's how could Perrin not know? That confused me.
Yeah, I don't I don't get it. Maybe he's just lying. Simple explanation is he just pulled that number out of thin air.
But he's consistent with it, you know?
Or maybe the way that Slayer's sense of time is so different because of the whole switching back and forth with Luke. Maybe for Slayer, it's only been a day, like, and he's killed many wolves for him in a day, but it doesn't feel like a day to us. Time's different until Tel Riyadh. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I'd love to hear theories about this. If anyone has any proof of like missing wolves or some reference that comes together there, because I can't find anything.
And yeah, the only other thing is this interesting interaction where Slayer says that Luke hates him. Right? Slayer's like, I just like to hunt you for reasons. Luke has a personal beef with you. And then he dares to compare himself to a wolf. And Perrin takes great offense to that. You are not a wolf. You don't get to say things like, no more than the wolf hates the stag that he hunts. Like, no, you don't get to be a wolf. Those analogies are not for you. So they're basically acknowledging that they have to be in a battle to the death. Like, that's the point of this POV.
It is interesting because, like, when Perrin shot Slayer and gave him that chest wound, he was in Isam's body.
Oh, no, yeah, it was, yeah.
But I think that Isam respects him as, like, an opponent, whereas I think Luke is jealous of Fail, and they have, like, the woman competitiveness. Because that's the pomp, Lord Luke is the guy who showed up in the Two Rivers. And so that's where their relationship is much more personal on that level. Whereas Isam is much more a hunter.
I mean, I'm also thinking they're both royalty, right? But Isam vanished as a small child, right? Whereas Luke vanished as a young adult or a teenager, a much more formed personality. Because he's the sibling of Tigraine, right? He's vanished at a much different age. And I'm thinking maybe he kind of hates Perrin for the same reason that Gawain hates Rand. This village upstart who is taking on leadership and royal duties that should have been your birthright, but for twists of circumstance and fate that were beyond your control. There's an element of that too. Throw in a pretty girl on top of that just to make it extra annoying. But yeah, this is to set up that lava is relevant and that Slayer and Perrin are going to be trying to kill each other permanently. They don't. Hopper dies permanently and the Dream Spike is killed, but Slayer does actually walk away from this fight to come back another day. Right, because Perrin still hasn't figured out how to teleport into the real world and back again, and Slayer has that ability, and so Slayer can still flee and escape in this moment. And when the Dream Spike is destroyed, right, it was either they had to fight to the death or the Dream Spike had to be destroyed. Right, something is leaving the equation permanently.
And then back to Gawain as he's running through the tower trying to save Egwene.
Right, flipping back about 15, 20 minutes or so,
sure.
Right? Because Gawain isn't in the room yet. The dome is over the tower, but he's not in the room yet. And I love this moment where he goes running by and these two soldiers come after him and he's like, I don't want to deal with you guys trying to stop me right now. They're like, no, we're backup.
Yeah.
You didn't have to tell us you needed backup. We could tell you needed backup. We're just coming. We know you. We know your face. And I like that moment that he thinks that he's going to be barred. And in fact, he's just getting auto backup because his standing is still that high with his old followers.
And these two followers, who are pretty much immediately murdered by the Shan-Chan, are named for fans of the Wheel of Time.
Naturally.
Mazone is named for Eric Mazone, a fan of the Wheel of Time. And Salark, I was saying Keylark, is named for Fitzgerald Clark, a fan of the Wheel of Time.
Nice.
They get to be in it, and they get to be murdered, which is always fun.
I mean, I think it's a pretty epic scene to just immediately assign themselves to red shirt status upon seeing Gawain enter the building.
I feel like that's sort of, a lot of authors like to do that. They're like, I need someone to kill off, right? And I need a name. That's a good way to auction those out to people and be like, you get to be in it, but like, you're not going to have any story going forward because you're going to be murdered immediately.
But like, if you're a red shirt on Star Trek, you get the opening scene. You get totally to die dramatically as the inciting incident of a Star Trek episode. It's a good thing.
It's a very good thing. It's a very good thing. So these red shirts come following behind him.
And yeah, they sneak up and they're like, everything's fine, everything's cool. Oh, the maid has already tripped the thing, and actually the attack is in place, and plot twist. It's very exciting.
Oh, that's what's going on. Okay. I was like, who the hell bound the maid and set off the traps?
Yeah, the Blood Knives must have snagged a maid and told her, walk through the door, trigger the trap for us. Do not scream, otherwise we'll kill you because we're, living shadows that speak weird.
Okay.
That's my assumption.
That's good. Oh, God. Okay. I totally misread that. I was thinking somehow one of the Black Oddjaw got in there and set off the traps, and tied up the maid. But then I was like, then where are they? Did the Blood Knives kill the Black Oddjaw? And that's why, no.
The Blood Knives have been watching and looking and learning and figuring out all of the different levels of security that she's got. So they knew what
And they
were
probably
doing.
saw Gawain set it off, right? So they knew how to set it off.
Because they were right there.
Yep.
They were right there when he messed everything up. I mean, yes, they ran off down the corridor, but you think they didn't sneak back and see what happened? Do you think they didn't hear her yelling at him through 3 levels of stone walls? Yeah, for sure. They know.
So what follows is a fight scene between him and the Blood Knives, right? Where you get a lot of sword form names.
Yeah. It's a good visual scene. Classic Sanderson. Also with, a good thread of classic Jordan with just all these sword forms. It almost feels like Jordan's writing it with how many sword form names are in it.
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun to picture. They're fun to read. I don't think we need to go blow by blow through,
No.
He's facing 2. They take down his aide. They take down the guy that runs for help, and then suddenly he's facing 3.
Yeah, that's basically the core of it, is when Gawain tells his men to go get help, only one of them does the stupid heroic thing and stay. One of them actually does obey. It doesn't matter either way, but it is nice that one of them did at least attempt to follow instructions. And then, Gawain's like, I might not be able to handle 2. Yeah, I'm going to handle 2. It'll be great. And then a third one shows up, and the boss battle music intensifies and gets that extra twist that lets you know that you've achieved a new layer of the fight. It's really pretty and exciting to read.
And realizing he has to take on 3, we switch back to Perrin, because that's what we're doing. Yeah, because we're bouncing around.
And then Perrin finally does what we've been wanting him to do this whole goddamn time and lets the wolf go free without worrying about it. And he is just flickering back and forth between both forms seamlessly like a bilingual person. And it just looks so cool in the theater of my mind. Slayer can't do that shit. Slayer is just Slayer forever. Perrin is flickering between wolf and man as needed.
But Slayer has a little more practice in controlling the reality of the world of dreams, right? So he tricks Perrin a few times with the statue of himself while he appears and shoots an arrow from behind. And that's how he gets the pouch off. So that's sort of the key of this fight, is Slayer is able to take the pouch off of Perrin and get the dream spike back.
But he apparently doesn't know any more than Perrin does about how to snap the force field down and just bounce with it, because he's still doing the shuffling dome situation. So Perrin can track him in reverse.
I assume he doesn't know the controls either.
Yeah, I kind of figured he would, but I don't know why. He just knows how to find it.
Probably on and off. I bet he knows on and off.
I would turn it off if I was him. That would be so much easier to just turn it off and bounce. And then,
That's a good point. Why doesn't he turn it off? Because he must have turned it on to test it, on and off to test it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe he's just too caught up in the heat of the moment, and his fight with Perrin is just the adrenaline.
Or it takes a few seconds to say, he just doesn't have the time to sit down and do the complex controls and twists.
Yeah.
That
fair
just
enough.
takes a few minutes, or even 30 seconds would be a long time when you're being hunted. And he knows where you are because the dome, center of the dome is always right above you. So.
Yeah. A lot of potential reasons, but I think that was a fail. If he was not given that information, that was a fail on the part of his handler. But I like the idea that he's just so caught up in the fight and or that it takes long enough that he just can't.
Because I do think he knows how to turn it on and off, because it went on and off that one time where he was testing it and Perrin found it. And then he turned it on again later. So it wouldn't make sense for the person to give it to him to turn it on, because then I think that on and off may have even been the person showing him how to turn it on and off. Right? And then he turned it on later.
Sure. But, Luke hates him, and Slayer is committed to the hunt. So I think he's not necessarily thinking clearly about logistics the way that we are. And I love Hopper showing up saying, you are 2 foolish cubs, very loud, like snarling cats, easy to find. Perrin's like, how did you find me? He's like, are you really asking that seriously?
Which just goes to show you how subtle the wolves are, right? They move quietly in the wilderness, and they move quietly in Tel'aran'rhiod. And humans are always kind of, no matter how quiet we think we are, and how powerful, like we see how powerful Perrin is, right, with the Just a Weave. He's still a blundering fool compared to these wolves.
I mean, he's still human.
In some ways. Yeah. Is he?
More so than a wolf. Compared to a wolf. If a wolf is looking at him, he is a man, not a doggo. All right, so we switched to Egwene, and Egwene estimates that it's been about 15 minutes probably that they've been fighting. It feels like hours, but realistically, stuff's happening fast. Sure, yeah, that is how time works.
Especially in the world of dreams.
Yeah, and she says she felt invaded as surely as when the Shan-Chan had come. And again, I'm just like, Missana, you really should be running and hiding. Like the White Tower's boss mama bear mode is activating, right? Like the White Tower's going mama bear mode, and we've already seen what it does. Are you really gonna fight that? But we're building up to that. She's killing Black sisters like it's nobody's business. Her and Nynaeve just kicking ass, just blasting people. Everyone's so OP. We're in god mode. The Aiel are still kind of unimpressed. Your pattern is obvious.
Yeah. No. So there's that moment. She makes she fireballs Mestra, who was introduced and killed in this chapter.
Okay. Evan Ellen, the same.
Itha Ellen is actually has been around since Fires of Heaven prologue.
Oh, okay.
So she's been around for a while. Well, not having done a whole lot, but she wore a low neckline, meeting with Elida. And Elida thought she was too concerned with clothes and should have been green instead of gray. I don't really know if you remember that.
Okay.
She was elected as a sitter.
Oh, right. And then, okay, so this is such an important. Sorry, you were talking.
Go for it.
Okay, so this whole thing with Missana, it's really heavily foreshadowed here because she imagines Evan Ellen being stupid, and it works. We're getting that it's just a weave to a certain extent, like, oh, you can just imagine someone's stupid, and then while she's debating what's happened, I know, right? And then while she's debating what to do with her, Missana, shows up and attempts to do that to Egwene, and I'm like, oh, you poked the bear now. You have poked the bear so hard now. Like, you've just given us all the ingredients we need for your epic showdown in the second chapter of this battle. Like, it's all happening right now because Egwene shrugs it off pretty quick. Because she's so strong.
They've crossed swords. They've crossed wills now once, but she fled, and eventually there's going to be that battle where they push instead of fleeing, and one of them breaks.
Yeah, this Egwene is able to escape, but when she comes back knowing the trick next time, no one's escaping.
When she's prepared, yep. Remember, I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me.
Right, but this is the first time she's actually faced Missana. Right? Up until now, it's all been interacting with intermediaries. This is the first time they've actually been within arm's reach of each other.
There's a moment here where Nynaeve says they shouldn't be able to channel this well with those imperfect copies, right? Because they took the copies of the ter'angreal that Elaine made. I don't think they're using copies. I don't think they're using ter'angreal. I think they have stepped through gateways and are there in the flesh.
Oh.
And they're getting fucked by getting killed in the world of dreams in the flesh.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that as an explanation. I just figured it was that they knew better how to use the dream world, or that they had better ter'angreal, but came through gateways because they had imperfect ter'angreal, and the Forsaken are willing to make those sacrifices of their pawns.
And Missana could have done that easily.
That makes a lot more sense.
And since she's there herself, right? And then you give them this power edge because they're here in the flesh.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, and here, right, he says here, the Black Aja stole 19 of ter'angreal. That might give us an estimate of how many Black Aja we have to contend with. Or, since they're able to channel so strongly, perhaps not, because they're not using the ter'angreal, they're there in the flesh, right? So they're saying, maybe there are 19 using the ter'angreal, but there might be a bunch more who can channel stronger because they're here for real.
Wow, yeah, I had not noticed that, but I totally agree. She asks after the wise ones, and Nynaeve says, I think they're enjoying this. Which probably, yes.
Yeah, it's like, It's like when you have a dog bred for a purpose and you let it go and go do that purpose. And it's like, okay, yeah, these Aiel wise women are designed to hunt in the world of dreams. That's what they are. They're hunters from a people of hunters who, a lot of them were like, especially Mies, right? Maiden of the Spear, who's now there in the world of dreams, getting ready to dole out some punishment, right? She is in her wheelhouse and enjoying the hell out of it.
Yeah, there's a YouTube channel I love watching. Maybe some people out there know of it. Sean the Sheep Man. I think he's on TikTok too. And it's just seeing sheepdogs herding sheep is just a beautiful thing. Like finally all of that energy that those dogs have makes sense as they go tearing off through the heather for hours on end, just chasing these sheep down. It's a beautiful thing. And yeah, seeing the Aiel Wise Ones hunting Black Aja and Forsaken through the Dream Tower is just, yeah, it is a collie in the mist running after a sheep to me.
Notoria's mentioned as a Black Sister. This is her first and last mention.
Nice.
Not a fan of the Wheel of Time as far as I can tell.
Well, no, because she died right away. Obviously, she's not a fan of Wheel of Time. Okay, so that's just a name. Fun. Right. So this is where they do the like repeated pattern of light and explosions. And there's this whole thing about how like the tower is really dark up there. Like it's like some sort of area of effect thing that the Black Aja has done to like make everything really dark and hard to see. So they're like blasting everything with light, then with fire. And it's a whole very video game. It's feeling less and less like anime and more like a video game.
There's somewhere in between, yeah, for sure. They find Sidor, one of the Black Sisters. She's been around since the Path of Daggers.
Okay.
These Aes Sedai who have a history where they're in the groups. They were elected. A lot of these were elected sitters. Everyone that's mentioned so far has been elected sitter when the tower split, either to one side or the other.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's where we get a lot of these names that are being reused because they've been named sitters. But they haven't done much outside of being name sitters and having a little bit of backstory on each one of these.
Sure. So then we see Bear, who is the color of the wall. She's gone like full camo,
right?
Essentially, because Tel Ren Regard, it's not even camo. She's like a freaking squid or an octopus, just completely color matching.
Because you can't go invisible necessarily, but you can blend into the background and make yourself not seen, right? Which is an extension of the Aiel.
Right. Yeah, the way they can vanish into the waste just because of their clothes. It's like, well, this is Tel Ren Regard, so we can become wall colored.
Mm-hmm. And she surprises Egwene. Egwene has no idea she's there.
Yeah, and then as she's scolding them that they should be more clever, the wall explodes, and we cut back to Perrin, because that's how this chapter is going.
Right. Every moment of tension is met with a cut, which is fun. It's, again, very TV influence, but also Wheel of Time influence, right? That's the epic battle scenes are often full of cuts at epic moments in order to keep the suspension going. Like that's
this
very
is not
Wheel
an
of Time.
artifact of TV. This is just an artifact of good, suspenseful fantasy climax writing. So yeah, we're with Perrin, and he's chasing Slayer primarily, but also in the back of his mind noticing that the tower is really loud and boomy and rumbly, and is that us? That doesn't make any sense. And we know, of course, it's because there's a giant battle.
Right. So there's sort of intersecting battle here for the first time. And so he runs around and he's like, oh my God, there's a bunch of Aes Sedai fighting.
Because him and Slayer have now run into the tower, right? They've been running through the city up until now, and now they are escalating their boss fight by entering a new arena known as the Tower, which is full of women hitting each other with fire.
And so he runs into Egwene in the World of Dreams, which is kind of a fun, like, finally moment, right? Because they've both been in the World of Dreams this whole time, this whole book series. And it seemed like, yeah, of course they're going to encounter each other. I mean, even though it's a big place and you've got the whole world, like significant events seems like it would bring them together in this kind of way.
Oh, yeah. Especially in the tower, such a significant location. And then they have this hilarious exchange back and forth of, I'm so sorry, I need to just like leave you and go do something really important, but you should leave. It's really dangerous here.
Right. It's like, no, you don't understand. It's really dangerous for you. So yeah, there's that moment where Egwene sort of encases Perrin in vines and he like shrugs them off. And she's like, what's going on? And so like in the middle of this argument, one of the Black Aja shows up and tries to balefire them. Perrin doesn't know who it is, but I think later we get her name from Egwene.
I think it might be Tamila, but I don't know, because she's the one that carries around the balefire rod primarily, I think.
Interesting. Encyclopedia Watt does not know who it is. It asks who. So let's see if we can get it from the wiki. An unknown black sister. Who shoots balefire at Perrin? Interesting. I don't think anybody knows who this girl is.
Wow.
Just generic black Aja.
Huh. I
A
disagree
tall,
with that.
slender-necked woman with raven hair wearing a sleek white dress? That's Celine. That's fucking Lanfear.
That's super true. Except that she gets hit on the head and apparently dies, and we do see Celine after this. I mean, she never mentions having a head trauma.
Oh, fuck. All right. That's right, she dies. So it's just a dead corpse that nobody cares about.
Celine cosplayer, maybe? She is on the dark side.
It's just the interaction between Perrin and Lanfear in the last book. Right? What's Lanfear doing now? We have no idea. Unless this is Celine, manipulating him somehow, channeling at him for the first time in the world of dreams, and then faking her own death to make it look like she's gotten taken out by some walls, leaving a dead body there.
No, because Perrin and Egwene both would have recognized her as Lanfear. They would have said something about it if it was Lanfear.
But a slender-necked, raven-haired girl in a white dress, come on! Is that not such a perfect description of Lanfear?
There are other women that look like that, even if they don't have names.
What is she doing right now? Well, and of course, she doesn't look like that, so because she looks like Sindane right now.
Also that, yeah, she's in her Sindane mode.
But in the world of dreams, she makes herself look.
Yeah, I think it's a random character. Maybe it's just some random Aes Sedai.
Because Lanfear begins appearing to Perrin as he stalks Slayer in the Wolf Dream, giving the impression that she has switched sides. She helps him remove the dream spike from the Black Tower. That must all be in the next book. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I feel like we're almost getting echoes of that in this book. Like he wanted to write that. God, I don't know. I'm just going to write that down over here in the what if it's Lanfear category book.
I'm not going to fight it. You can put it on the list.
Just because we know Lanfear's fucking, the next time we see Lanfear, she's fucking with Perrin's head in the world of dreams. And who's to say she didn't start here?
Let's keep an eye on it. How does he respond to her immediately? What does he describe her as? What does he think of her as when he first meets her? And she's actually deliberately fucking with him on purpose.
Also, how much would that not be a way to oh my God, this guy deflected balefire in the world of dreams. Maybe I should pay more attention to him.
Hot.
Yeah, exactly. That having power is what gets Lanfear hot, right?
It's true.
The power
It's
to
true.
deflect balefire is power with a capital P.
That's true. The other thing that's relevant here is that he looks at Egwene and she seems decades older. Like she has all this authority. And I'm like, yeah, she's the tower.
The authority of the White Tower.
This
yeah.
is Egwene the Amerlin seat, not Egwene Alvier, the girl that you are age cohorts with. This is the dream enacted, empowered, enabled version of her. And I think that's cool. But what's more relevant is that he's suddenly lost track of Hopper, and then he hears that Hopper is in pain, and we switch POVs again.
But yeah, so cool. The just weave. It comes at him. He puts out his palm.
Yeah. So
we have to actually talk about it. It's just a weave. We're referencing it, but yeah.
Here it is. Right. It's just a weave. The beam of doom comes at them. He puts his hand up. It parts around them in the most anime moment to ever be an anime moment in all of these books, I swear. And Egwene's jaw falls on the floor in a cartoon fashion.
In this moment, it's not parting. He makes it vanish.
Oh, right. He makes it stop. He just absorbs it like it's a flashlight beam. Whoop.
Yeah.
Whoop. It's just
and everyone's
so
like, what?
understated.
Yeah.
The climax is the lack of climax.
And him being like, yeah, just we. I could have done that to anything you threw at me, right? Like the world of dreams is more powerful than channeling in the world of dreams, if you believe in it.
Right. To them, balefire is above and beyond all other channeling. And to him, he's like, I never got taught to revere balefire like it's some sort of uber power. I just thought that it was some weave. It's just some weave. It's like when you treat a really rich, famous person like they're just some guy.
Right.
It's like, no, I don't know who you are, and so I'm not going to let you cut in line.
Right.
Weirdo.
Right. But that is a huge clue for Egwene later in her ability to undo the Balefire and create the Flame of Tarvalin weave.
It's just a weave. Even in the real world, it is still just a weave, ultimately, at the end of the day.
Demystifying it is really key.
You gotta just get in touch with nature, get in touch with your wild side, you know? And then you can get out of your ivory tower and realize that there's more to life than your special technology.
So, in a way, Perrin killed Egwene.
Hey. No. Gawain is still responsible. You were arguing just a couple episodes ago that she could have figured out that weave without killing herself.
Because she uses it before she kills herself in small doses.
So really, Perrin made it possible for her to have not killed herself in order to save the world. Perrin gave her the necessary out that she would have needed.
Right.
It's just a weave. Just puts I forgot it doesn't part around them. It just absorbs into his hand. And like, even me as a reader, I'm like, but the beam of balefire has to go somewhere. The energy has to go somewhere. It's balefire. No. That is a thing of the two-legged she's who can touch the wind that moves the earth and call fire. It's not truly a thing of the dream. It's just one of those things that those particular humans can do.
Which, like anything else, if you can disappear an arrow, you can disappear a weave.
Yeah, it's harder to disappear a person. It's impossible to disappear an object that has been transported in physically. But a weave? Yeah, it's nothing. Presumably, if, there was a full circle completely focused on it, you'd end up in a contest of wills that cost you a bit more. But just like, I'll throw a weave at you. Well, I don't give a shit. Is like, yeah.
If only because you have those 13 people putting their will into making that thing exist.
That's what I mean. Right. A circle would focus people's attention, and it would be 13 on one, and that's a different, more dreamlike mechanic.
Which brings us back to the classic, is channeling in the world of dreams even real, or are you doing it just because you believe you can do it?
Could Slayer have had his channeling visions met in the dream if he had just believed a little harder? Could
Perrin throw balefire back at them? Could Perrin throw the women's half of the power back at them?
It's not like he knows the difference in flavor. Is this the true non-binary channeling? Is just do it in the dream?
Oh, yeah, doing it in dreams.
Because, would you experience, the enhanced senses and the rush and all of that if you don't know to expect that? Would that not even be present when you are, quote-unquote, channeling?
Or is it just not possible because you have never experienced it, that you can never imagine it accurately enough to duplicate the process?
This is a question. It's a good question.
And I think in a lot of ways it's a moot question, right? I think you have to channel in the real world to channel in the world of dreams. Whether that's because you need that experience to do it and you're creating it with your mind, or you need access to the power. Either way, I think it's kind of a moot point because you have to have already channeled in the real world.
Yeah, I think probably, but also if someone had enough guided meditation and a vivid enough imagination and a strong enough will, maybe. I think there might be an edge case, but I think you're right in terms of general normal. Yeah,
practically, yeah,
normal, as we argue the intricacies of a magic system buried inside another magic system. This is really scientific.
Hey bro, I heard you like magic systems on your magic system.
Do you like a magic system with your magic system?
2 scoops of magic system right on top.
So, Gawain is...
Back to the Gawain.
Winning-ish against 3 shadows. He's doing what should be impossible. He's pulling a Manetherin, surviving for days against what would have defeated him in hours. Except, lasting for minutes against what should have killed him in seconds.
But he's bleeding badly. And at this point, at least when we cut to him, he hasn't done any damage to them. And he's taken a lot of little nicks and cuts and hits. And he's losing blood pretty good.
Yeah, he manages to make his first hit by sheer dumb luck. He just rolls a nat 20 in this POV, but that is the first time he has hit them, whereas they've, hit him, a half dozen times. So he manages to kill one, which is cool. He kind of one-shots one of these guys. I guess the enemy zigs when he should have zagged and just runs right onto the point of the sword,
Well, here's the thing. Gawain is still going to be a much better swordsman than any of these 3, right? Because he's at a disadvantage of not having the Angreal. He's at a disadvantage of 3-on-1, and he's still surviving. He must be significantly better of a swordsman than them, or else they would have taken him down easily with those advantages.
Right. And the other two press their attack harder after the first one goes down. They clearly are slow to realize how much better he is than them, despite the fact that he's holding his own. And yeah, but he realizes that in a war of attrition, he's going to lose. So he chooses equality in the form of total darkness, because you can't have your shadow buff if there's no light.
Right. Which is the coolest, I think, moment, right? And I've seen this in other media, but it is a cool moment of like, if they have some sort of visual trick that's going to give them an advantage, take away the light so nobody can see. Shoot out the lights, and especially if there are more of them than there are of you, well, if you strike out blindly and hit somebody, it's definitely an enemy. If they strike out blindly and hit somebody, it might be you, it might be one of their friends. So they have to sort of moderate where they're attacking. They can't just attack any sound.
Right. And we know from the rings when he puts them on that they don't really give you much of an advantage to your physical speed. It's all about the perception of your physical speed to the outside. So once he makes equality, yeah, they are inferior to his sword skills. And he's better at anticipating their next move once the lights are out.
Well, he gets the one, right, by anticipating the moves, and the other one he can't figure out. So he tempts them. He protects the throat and takes a sword hit to the side, which only works because he can be healed, right? I mean, he's sacrificing himself potentially for Egwene, right? This moment of like, if I take this last one out, Egwene will live if she's still alive. And if she's still alive, I have the potential of actually being healed from this, right? Like, he doesn't think that explicitly, but that like, oh, I will take a hit in the side that might not kill me immediately is a risk you can take because of healing.
Right. I think his main rationale is that he's not going to be able to get this guy unless the dude's sword is buried somewhere. And if his neck has been cut, he won't be able to make that last action, right? He needs the last few seconds after getting stabbed to still have action. And he can't do that if his jugular's cut, right? He'll be out of the fight instantly. He needs to be out of the fight 10 seconds later so he can lop this guy's head off. But yeah, it does work for story purposes. When someone takes a gut wound, you're like, sweet, they can be healed.
Marzipan makes a good point that he's sheathing the sword, right? That sometimes you have to take a sword in your own flesh to take out the enemy.
Literally.
And like, sometimes it's worth it. And this is a moment when it's worth it.
Yeah, he's happy to die, but he needs to have those few extra seconds after taking the fatal blow in order to have it be worth it. And yeah, then he dies, quote unquote dies. He goes into unconsciousness, not knowing if he will live, not knowing if Egwene was already dead or not. That's one of the most like, okay, dude, I do feel bad for you. Not knowing if your death was too late is rough.
And I think this would have been a great place to kill him off. His last thought was that he still didn't know whether she was dead. End of Gawain. Done. She survives, sacrifice, all that kind of stuff.
She's sad, but not magic sad.
Right.
She's heartbroken because she wakes up with her future husband dead at her feet, having saved her. And she never got to apologize. Right? She could have been destroyed by this. And we would not have given him nearly so much shit over the last many, many chapters, because it would have been, yeah, you figured it out at the last minute and you died well, and there we go. Great. Awesome. But no, he has a fourth act. Never have a fourth act.
Never follow a hippie to a second location.
Ever. It's me. I'm the hippie. Follow me. Definitely follow me in these dancing lights into the woods.
Oh, I did, and to look where I am now. Oh, God. What have I done? Another podcast.
Yeah. You seem quite successful. You have a house, you have a wife, you have a dog, you have a podcast. I don't know what more you wanted from the Fae. The monkey's paw is that you have to do it under capitalism.
Right, yeah. Exactly. Another POV switch.
This time to a not truly new character, but a new in a long time character. Well, no, actually, yeah, because we've seen Masana's POV before, but not in a minute. Certainly not in this battle. So Katarine is reporting on how badly the fight is going to Masana. Masana is currently still safe. She's still doing general stuff from a safe location. But Katarine is saying, yeah, the entire plan has gone absolutely to shit, and we are getting our asses handed to us. And Masana is unimpressed.
Because of the dream spike, which she thinks the Aes Sedai brought in as part of the battle, when in reality it's just sheer dumb luck and the pattern and Perrin doing his things. Tavirin. I love the hideout. I love hollowing out a sphere of solid rock underneath the tower in the world of dreams, using your mind. I mean, like, no, I'm just going to chill here because no one will ever find me. There is no analog in the real world. But also imagine the brain power it takes to maintain that, right? because that's not natural. If you stop thinking about it, it will go away, and everyone stuck in there will die.
Yeah, it's splitting your attention in a way that takes training in order to be confident doing it, right? It's like ignoring the heat or cold, right? It's something she can do without a lot of super conscious thought because she trained in it. But yeah, you got to be, certified in order to do this.
I wonder if maintaining that disadvantaged her against Egwene in the battle.
No, because they weren't in that space by the time that fight happened, I don't think. I think they were in a normal room of the tower for that fight, I think. Or did they come back to this room?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, if they had, then Egwene would have died when Masana's brain snapped.
Well, I wonder if they were in a normal room, if anyone in there would have died when her
Presumably,
brain snapped.
yeah. I would assume so. Either that or they would get, like safe room booted to a nearby corridor. Because Tel'aren'rhiod has buffers on it. I don't know. Probably not. Probably they would just get smushed.
Yeah, that's what I assume. Unless they could maintain the space around them themselves and teleport out, right?
Which seems unlikely in that moment of being smushed by the power of the Earth's crust.
Do you know something about that?
Tiny bit. Tiny little bit.
Yeah.
I learned about a really cool rock actually the other day called Shungite, named for a town in western Russia where it was found. And it's essentially dried out rotten oil from the way, way, way back. It's as old as 2 billion and as young as 1.2 billion years old. But it's essentially what happens to oil after even more time. It's the carbon in it is too densely packed to be burnable. It has some cool industrial uses, but it is essentially a carboniferous coal. It could have been coal, right? But it's much more smashed and much more dehydrated and rotten and compressed than a fossil fuel. It's very cool. Very interesting stuff. It's not even truly a mineral because it's a whole bunch of different things. It's more of an amalgamation of stuff, but it's also a distinct rock. And then there's also rocks that bear it. Very cool. And formed by, a lot of pressure. Of pressure.
Oh, one final thing we see is she places a weave on Katrine, which we know is a mask of mirrors that makes her look like Masana herself.
Yes, she's pivoting the plan to make do with the fact that she's in the tower, and then says, ooh, let me make a decoy of myself. You are a sacrifice I'm willing to make. This will go well. And then we POV switch back to Perrin, who's at the top of the tower facing impossible situation with Slayer and Hopper. Tries to bargain, give me the spike, or give me Hopper, I'll give you the spike. Slayer's like, that's literally not going to work. We talked about that.
Slayer tosses Hopper off the roof, and Perrin does the superhero landing pose to catch him, exploding outward, ring of fire and everything.
Yeah, they do this whole falling off down the thing, and they're fighting in the air, trying to teleport away, keep him there. It's very exciting.
His knees buckled and the ground around him shattered, right? That's that. He lands and the ground around you shatters. That is such a superhero pose landing moment.
Yeah. And it also is, again, like we were just talking about with Masana, it's an indication of the strength of his mind to impose his will on the environment, right? He's choosing to land in a way that is safe, and it still hurts him. He still is fighting against the earth. Masana is down, 30, 40, 50 feet, holding back the pressure of the overlying rock in the back of her mind without thinking about it too hard, whereas he is desperately trying to save himself and shattering the stone and his body at the same time.
But Slayer, the asshole that he is, has shot an arrow down at the, I assume basically the arc the wolf was traveling in as soon as he dropped the wolf. So Hopper gets basically killed by the arrow from Slayer's bow.
Yeah, it's really intense because the arrow comes zipping out of the air and goes through Hopper into Perrin's leg. That's a really, really harsh way to do this. Pin cushioning the bestest boy, Hopper.
And that's where he says Slayer raises his bow. Looks like I killed 5 wolves today. And it's like, is he? I don't know if he's lying about that. I really don't.
Yeah. Confusing. Very confusing. Yeah. It's a weird thing to hold on to.
So Perrin imagines himself strong, not faint. That's him basically replenishing all the blood in his veins is something he's able to do. So he can give himself a blood transfusion, which is pretty impressive. Right? You can do a lot to keep yourself alive in the world of dreams.
You can't truly heal yourself, but you can do bits and pieces.
You can bandage yourself. You can give yourself blood transfusions. You can do basically everything that would be done in a hospital to treat a wound of that kind. So if you can survive the wound, you don't have to get to a hospital. You can just do it yourself with your mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that there are ways, but it's not just imagining. Like, you have to do more. Like, injuries somehow have more reality than other conditions, and you have to treat them with more gravity than just thinking about it. So Hopper's not fully dead yet, right? Like, he drops Hopper, but there's still like an actual death goodbye scene to have after the nightmare, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. Okay, I flipped ahead. Yeah. So, yes, Hopper has taken his fatal blow, but we haven't had his death scene yet. That will be next week.
Right. And that's when he says go seek out Boundless.
Right. That was what I was looking at this, being like, this is too abrupt. And it's like, oh yeah, Perrin goes and does the whole thing while Hopper is lying there on the street bleeding out, and then is still alive to give Perrin that last bit of info before dying finally. But yeah, in the meantime, Perrin smells a nightmare and does the excellent desperate maneuver of, if you can't kill the enemy and walk away, maybe you can kill both of you, and pushes Slayer into a nightmare together. They kick in together.
Mm-hmm. Sort of similar to what Gawain's doing, which is leveling the playing field, right?
Yeah.
Taking out of a place where you're advantaged into a place where we're both disadvantaged.
Yeah, Perrin and Gawain are kind of following similar trajectories. If I can't win the way we were doing the battle, then maybe I can make you lose at least by changing conditions badly. And that is where we're going to leave you for this week. We will pick up this battle next week because we wanted to savor it like a fine wine and not rush the thing.
And just an update. Lanfear's compulsion of Perrin, this is from Brandon Sanderson, was only in A Memory of Light, and she didn't like using it and had not done so in their previous meeting back in earlier books.
Okay, so this is just a woman who bears passing resemblance to her.
That seems to be the it's not a direct quote, but it seems like the Lanfear thing really seems to have only been in the final book. All right, but yeah, I think that takes us to the end. Anything else that you wanted to say?
No, I am enjoying this. I know action sequence chapters are a lot faster than usual, but I don't mind that we're splitting this up across 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm fine. That was a heavy page count for us to get through. Even if, yes, a lot of it was like, ooh, that's fun battle stuff. We don't really need to talk about it.
But yeah, I am just really excited to go talk about Dungeon Crawler Carl. So I will once again shamelessly pitch our Wheel of Time spoilers audience. You gotta come listen to the Dungeon Crawler Carl stuff. We're recording way ahead of what's currently been released, but I'm very excited for what we're going to be recording today.
Mm-hmm. No, it's really good stuff. I'm enjoying the Dungeon Crawler Carl content a lot. It's a different energy. It's a totally different energy, and I'm loving it. So, yeah, come join us over there.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Wheel of Time Spoilers podcast. Please rate and review us on your podcast app, and consider supporting us on Patreon for ad-free episodes. What Spoilers is a production of Fox and Raven Media. For more podcasts from Fox and Raven Media, visit our website at foxandravenmedia.com.